So here's a main beam. There's also a main beam right here. But what I did is I blocked it with this board here. So now I have no access to this beam. I want my main frame on my bed to be attached to these main beams. If they're not attached to these main beams, I could risk my studs popping off when I'm on the road, and then my bed could, I don't know, collapse in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping. So you gotta think, I'm gonna have my bed right here. If you're to play Call of Duty or like a video game, you know those glitches where you can like jump out of bounds, whatever, you can get out of the map. You get out of the map and then you start exploring around and you start seeing these buildings out of bounds, and then you look at the buildings and then you start to realize once you're closer that they only half did those buildings, or the buildings look like shit. They only look good from afar. That's basically what this is right here. This is basically like out of the map in a video game, right? Because my bed is going to be covering this. No one's going to see this big hole. Anything right here and below, out of the map stuff. But this up here, absolutely. Everyone's going to see this up here. But down here, I'm good to just destroy it all if I wanted. I just made little grooves for my lower decking of the bed. These little grooves are 1/4 inch because this sheet's a 1/2 inch, right? So if we were to get our sheet like this and measure, you can see that the sheet's a 1/2 inch. I made the groove 1/4 inch. Now, when I make the studs for my bed, the studs will slide into the grooves, making it a better connection. And how I did that is all I did was I just raised the blade just enough to be a 1/4 inch. If it's too high, then it'll just cut the whole piece. Then I build the studs for my bed, and I build a little stiff back that fits on the back of the studs to prevent them from being flimsy. My theory is I got my 1/2 inch plywood, but I'm doubling up on it because we want 1 inch studs. We don't want 1/2 inch studs. Those are not strong enough. So I got them clamped on this corner, and I got them clamped on this corner, and now I'm just gonna cut them to size.
Take out the stories they put into your mind. Embrace for the glory as you stare into the sky. The sky beneath. I know you can be tired.
Then I built the rails for my bed so the bed can ride up and down the side wall. This is the contour gauge I was telling you about. You put your piece up to the wall like this, and then you butt your top corner to the wall. Make sure that you're flush down here by using a speed square or just by eyeballing it. And now that you're square to how you want it, this contour gauge has a bearing on it. This ball bearing will roll with the curvature of the van. So when you draw it, you're copying the curvature right here. This one is the rough draft piece, and this one is the finished piece. Then I built the drawer slides that'll actually pull the sofa into bed mode. I used 2 pairs of drawer slides that were 500 pounds each pair. One pair had a locking system on it, so I don't have to manually fit something in to lock the drawer slides. I'm gonna show you the ergonomics that I got going on right now. So I put liquid nail on the drawer slides. All it is the drawer slides attached to the stud, and then the piece of wood is just glued right to the drawer slide, like this. Bang. Here we got our drawer slides installed. Oh yeah, these aren't going anywhere either. I glued these up and I was worried that these would pop off, but they're in there pretty good. So the idea here is I'll have a piece of plywood laid out right here, and then when I pull it out, all these slides will come out with the bed and it'll pull it out. And then when it pulls out from here, there's gonna be a sofa that's gonna ride down these rails, and it's gonna be right here, and it's gonna turn into a full-size bed. It'll be a bed twice the size of what I used to be sleeping on, so that's exciting business. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the plywood for the side that I'm gonna be sitting on. I'm gonna do that first, and then I'll cut the side that's actually gonna fold up. So now we're gonna build some spacer blocks that are just gonna go right in between the studs so nothing breaks. So none of these studs are moving around, because it feels pretty flimsy when I'm sitting on this thing when it's extended. So we're just gonna make sure that these studs are intact.
The sky beneath. I know you can be tired.
Then I had a piano hinge at home already. I cut it in half to use for my folding part so the bed can fold. I also connected some wheels to that folding part. The wheels will ride up and down the rails. Be in sofa mode until you pull the bed out, and then it'll drop into bed mode. So we're gonna use that board to bank it. So this is the bottom of it. You gotta be mindful once you flip it, everything's gonna go like that. So my wheels are on this side. Once I flip it, my wheels are now going to be on this side. So then I'll be able to push it in and it'll be able to roll itself up that rail like that, if that makes sense. For these wheels, they're going to be right on the edge. So I'm going to pre-drill this hole so I don't split the wood. If I were to just get my screw and ram it into this edge, it'll split. What I can do though, is I don't need to pre-drill this side. This side's not going to split because it's not by the edge. So now I already got my hinges on this board. I just need to connect the hinges to this one now. This is it right here. Hopefully this works. The only thing that sucks about this is the only way to figure out if it works out is by, you gotta just build the whole thing in order to make it work. If this is wrong, I could risk having to restart a lot of stuff. The glue needed to cure for 72 hours, so I slept on the floor for 2 more nights. I don't even want to sleep on the bed when the glue is still wet. I don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the glue. So this is going to be an interesting night. I got all these clamps right here that are holding all the glue for my bed. This glue needs to cure for 24 hours before I can pop these clamps off. So that means I gotta sleep right next to these clamps. So that's gonna be an interesting night. But I guess I can figure something out. I guess I'll just be sleeping half of a bed. I guess this will work. I'll probably be rolling over, hitting my face on this bar here throughout the night. But this is only for one night, really. This is the only night I'll need these clamps on. And then tomorrow night, I still would not want to sleep on this because I want to give this glue 72 hours to cure, just to be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. I worked really hard on this bed build. So yeah, in 2 days I'll do the showcase. But for now, it's bedtime. Good morning. That kind of sucked, but it's over with now. So I can take all these off. Well, no, I actually shouldn't. It hasn't been 24 hours yet. But we're gonna change my shirt and we're just gonna go to the gym right now. And then after the gym, I'm gonna let this glue cure. I'm gonna do a full showcase of the bed.